Welcome to Cage Free Voices Radio, an innovative educational entertainment radio show where youth and young adults have the opportunity to see themselves even if the world is blind. I am your host, Bathsheba Smithen. Today we're going to be talking about school chaos and how to protect and advocate for today's youth. We have with us my friend, my sister, Tajala Battle-Lockhart. She is a successful hospitality industry professional has been in the industry for 26 plus years, although she does not look it at all. I saw her bio and thought, 26 years? Oh my gosh. A certified hospitality educator, CEO of Simply Consulting LLC, co-founder of Phenomenal Young Women, Inc., and my daughter is actually a part of her organization, lead adjunct instructor for the hospitality, tourism, and culinary arts department, and member of the hospitality advisory board at Prince George Community College, vice president of Kingsview. Girl, you've done a lot. No, Homeowners board of directors and business and workforce development committee, chair for Women of Action, Charles County. Tajala, say something to the people before I continue with your extensive bio. Say something to the people.
Those are still all my hats. So yes, that's my what I do, and I'm passionate about what I do. I enjoy everything I do on there. So
Tajala recently retired as a career technical trainer for MJLM at the DOL Woodland Job Corps Center. The last 5 years, she managed a hospitality program and facilitated hospitality curricula that offered youth the opportunity to obtain industry-recognized certifications. Her passion has always been to deliver quality instruction to ensure that every student that entered the program transitioned into long-term job placement opportunities with reputable companies such as MGM, Marriott, and Four Seasons. Girl, I have been hanging out with you, and I did not know that you've done all of this. Hence, the reason why you are running for Charles County School Board.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about the process and how you came to that conclusion that you needed to run.
Well, I have the privilege of having a daughter in Charles County Public Schools. And just based off her experience, there's been, some ups and downs. Mm-hmm. And with my experience of working as a career technical trainer at Job Corps, I acquired some skills that I feel that the public school system could benefit from. And I think the lack of understanding and pushing kids through just so they can get to college, unfortunately, is not always the only option. Right. So I want to bring an outside of the box approach to the public school system, so they can know it's okay if they really want to go to college. There's a different direction you can go to get there, but if they have an immediate need or if college is just not for them, I would love for them to understand how lucrative vocational training could be for them.
Right. What was your experience like in Job Corps? Because I'm trying to get a mental image in my mind.
Oh my goodness. It was although very tough role dealing with the students. It wasn't the students that were tough. It was their life experiences that were tough. So to really understand, it was a challenge because you go in from the corporate world, you go in with the boss mentality, thinking that works. Yeah. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. So I understood and I watched and I heard stories and I started to, back off at some point in time. And then they started trusting me enough and seeing that I was sincere. And as they start sharing their stories, that's when I understood why they were there. Yeah. And some were, no parents, foster care, aged out of foster care, family just didn't have the money to pay for college. So that's what Job Corps is for those families that can't afford college but still want a career opportunity for them so they can acquire some career certification that they can start a job and start taking care of themselves. So tough. I mean, it was tough just walking in an unknown space because teaching was new for me. Yeah. But once I got into that process and started teaching and knowing them and understanding their story, and when I hear them say that what they can't do, I'm one of those ones. I'm approving what they can do.
Yeah, and I pulled a page out of I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings, and I think Maya Angelou's mom used to tell her, and she's my inspiration.
Yeah.
She has been a role model for me. Kant doesn't have a home.
Oh no!
I always tell my daughter that, and so she's gotten to the place where she said, "Can I say I'm unable to?"
Exactly. Even with I've learned we say because some of the students have what society calls as disabilities. And there's a beautiful young lady that I follow. Her name is Jill Jordan Green. Yeah. And her daughter wrote a book, and I love that she called it Learning Differences.
I love that because there are multiple intelligences. There are about 9. Mm-hmm. And so we all learn differently. Mm-hmm. So, and you talking about the experiences of these students, what would you say contributes to, just considering the number of mass shootings in the United States lately, what do you think could possibly be contributing to the rise in violence within schools?
Parents are hands off. We grew up in a time where there was a village, whether your parent was around or not. Your grandma was around, your aunties was around. It was a support system. Unfortunately, they don't have what we have. Yeah. And I think they're searching for that. And when they can't find it, they express it in a different way. And unfortunately, it results in violence. Yeah. I've lost several students in my small term. 5 years is a small term for me compared to some other teachers. But I've actually lost 3 students to gun violence.
Wow.
2 to gun violence, and 1 just took his life. And the challenge is that we... that's hard for me to talk about. The challenge is that we don't focus on the mental health aspect of it. And they have the resources for that. But the unfortunate part is that particular center is a 300 student center, and you have 1 or 2 psychiatrists that rotate to talk with them. And that's about a relationship. Every psychiatrist is not for every person. Yeah. So they weren't able to really tap into those things. And I think we need to help them mentally get strong before we can teach or train them on anything. And that was one of the gentlemen that took his life was a perfect example. We gave him all the tools academically, vocationally. And he graduated with all his stuff.
Yeah.
But when he left, he wasn't even gone 2 months. And he took his life. So we still missed something. We didn't tap into the mental aspect of what he was dealing with. Yeah. So I just my goal is to be an advocate to make sure that the Maryland area or the state, whomever that's willing to listen, understands that yes, you can have an awesome program, but if we don't help these kids on the mental level and provide them and meet them where they are and understand their story. Yeah. And they respect you enough to be able to share their story, and you work with them from there, we're always going to have this challenge.
So you're talking holistically.
I'm all about that.
And as a trainer of teachers, I find that a lot of teachers are having a difficult time incorporating those social skills and dealing with the heavy weight of student stories. In addition to having a difficult time connecting relationally, where would you start? How would you explain or walk a teacher through the process of getting through to a student?
Wow. Unfortunately, I must say, you have to want to walk through and get to that student. You have to have a mindset not solely focused on not getting the pay, and understanding that this student came to you because of your skill and your talent, so you can support in their growth. So I just open up. I'm fun. I try to be fun because that's what they expect, so they can let their guard down. And once you hospitality is my thing, so I think it's
benefit.
It's my thing, and I think it's extremely important. No matter if you're in a classroom or it starts at home. So we treat people like we treat guests at our home. Yeah. So I apply the same thing in my classroom. So I make sure my kids feel welcome. Yeah. That's the first thing. And if they feel welcome, that's the hardest part.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. You cannot motivate somebody you're not connected to.
Because kids are very, they can read you very well.
Yeah.
You know, so they know when you really love what you do, and they know when you're just there and you're sick and tired or whatever. So they don't. If you're approachable, they'll approach you and try to read you and see how you're going to be. If you're not, they're going to shut down, or some of them will just act out and see how you're going to respond.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, allowing kids to understand that they're welcome in any space is important first, because when they know that the wall is down, they'll come to you before you even have to go to them.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the easy part. When they come to you, they can read you. Yeah. But the hard part is those that have been through some trauma or whatever the case may be, and they're sitting in silence and they still don't trust you enough to come. So you have to be the one that's willing to take and it doesn't have to be what's wrong with you, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
You can just say how things going, and it may not happen today.
Yeah.
But every day you keep asking them, how's everything going? How's everything? Then they eventually realize, oh, she cares or he cares.
Because you're persistent and you're consistent.
Exactly, because it's unfamiliar.
Right.
That's the big thing with kids. When it's unfamiliar, they're like, because I have a lot of students in Job Corps, I would do something as simple as just, we started offering tea and coffee in the classroom, you know.
That's nice.
Especially in the wintertime, because we didn't have heat too much. But they was like, this for us? And, yeah, this for you guys. Why would you guys do this for us? Why not?
Right.
You know, so it was just hard for them to understand that, oh, somebody is nice enough to even just give me coffee or tea. Yeah. That just kind of blew me and my partner's mind. It's because you just never know, like, the thought process. So you have to be careful with your opening to kids, you know, especially the first initial. And then the second one, you have to be consistent, because if you show them something different, then they're like, oh, I don't trust her. She didn't show me what she said.
Right, and I think those are foundational principles for just teaching in general. Mm-hmm. What I'm understanding right now from a lot of the more seasoned teachers is that they're having a difficult time with the culture. Yeah. How would you? How do they address that? Like how can they connect with the youth culture of today?
Unfortunately, they have to be willing to change. Because they're set in their ways. I love them to death. They were good at what they were doing when they were doing it for us. But they have to understand this is a different day and time. And they have to welcome it, you know. Because if the kids are in a different space, no different from when we were going through, we had, you know, the one class clown and knucklehead. That was kind of our cultural differences. But now you have a great sense of mental challenges. Yeah. You have a great sense of
increase in bullying.
Oh my goodness. Bullying. Now we got sexual predators, child abuse, all of those things. Yeah. So you have to shift your whole thought process and approach to kids, because even if you don't know their story, that may be the reason why they're shut down.
Right. And I hear people talk about, well, you know, growing up, I experienced bullying and this is what we had to do. And I think they don't understand that they didn't have to experience cyberbullying. This is a 24/7 bullying experience for a lot of young people. What would you? I don't even know, because I know that a lot of administrators, teachers are still grappling with that concept. Like, how do we address bullying that's happening within the classroom, or it comes into the classroom from being outside and just within somebody's community or at home? Somebody is already like ready to fight when they get into school because somebody says something on social media. What have you experienced that, and what approaches have you taken to deal with it?
Yes, I have experienced that. The one thing I just have to keep going back to, and hurt people.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of hurt children out there. So they're bullying because of somebody else is hurting them. So my approach is, I've taken several different approaches, because I set the tone of my classroom from the beginning, so they know what they can and can't do. But of course, any child is going to challenge you. So the tough ones that want to approach me and be all cocky, I approach them back the same, because they don't expect that. Yeah. So I give them what they give me. The ones that'll, be smart by the mouth and, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
You know, you have to set the tone from the beginning.
Yeah.
So once they understand and you're matter of fact about something within your classroom, they say, oh, I can't do this to this person.
Yeah.
I think classroom management is key. But unfortunately, this day and time, as me being a substitute in Charles County Public Schools, observing, kids are running the classroom. Teachers aren't running the classroom.
Say that.
Yeah, there's been an experience for me. I was assistant to the actual teacher that's in the classroom, and the young gentleman was sitting, as they came into class, he sat at a table that wasn't, a desk that didn't belong to him. And she said, did you ask me a question? And he kept looking at her. She said, did you ask me a question? He kept going. I was like, hold on one second. I said, did you hear what she said?
Yeah.
I said, are you in the correct seat?
Yeah.
And so he got up and he moved.
Wow.
So you have to command and make them understand.
And I think some people even operate in intimidation, like they're intimidated by youth and young adults, and so then that closes the door for you to be able to be effective, to even change some of the mindsets of young people and the stuff that they're dealing with, because fear has taken over.
Yeah.
Yeah. But tell us about Phenomenal Young Women.
Oh, wow. Phenomenal Young Women was birthed out of the idea of wanting to create a legacy for my daughter and my co-founder's daughter, because both of us have lost our mothers. And so, and some of the things that we missed out on an opportunity of learning as a child, not to say that they did anything wrong, but based off our experiences where we are now, we wanted to focus on bringing a sort of wholeness to young women so they can understand the value of becoming a woman.
Yeah.
And along with that, we have 4 pillars of academics, entrepreneurship, health and wellness, and social skills. And we want them to understand the value in all of that and how that supports you in becoming a woman.
Where can people find out more about Phenomenal Young Women?
You can come to www.phenomenalyoungwomen.org and find all about us. We are on Facebook as well. We're on Twitter, Instagram, all the social media outlets.
And Ms. Tajala is running for Charles County School Board. Tell us just a little bit more about how to get connected and maybe even help with the process.
Oh, definitely. You can find me at my website, Battle-Lockhart.com. I'm trying to think. I don't go too I'm behind the scenes. And, of course, I'm on Tajala Battle-Lockhart at Facebook, all the social media sites again. And I'm having a fundraiser on May 6, 2018. At Middleton Hall in Waldorf, and if you would like to buy tickets, I would love to have you there, and you can hear more about my campaign process.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being with us on Cage Free Voices Radio. We would like to thank the viewers for watching and joining us. Remember to see yourselves even if the world is blind. Connect, reflect, connect, and transcend every barrier that will try to cage your voice. Be cage free.